Hey everyone, I'm excited to kind of share with you going beyond cart abandonment. Most people think they have cart abandonment down, which is, right after they enter their email, they're in the checkout process, and the last step they leave and they trigger an email. And a lot of plugins, a lot of standard e-commerce solutions already have that built in. And this is talking about going beyond cart abandonment, browse abandonment, unknown user abandonment. And so there's actually 5 types of e-commerce abandonment. I'm going to go through each one of those and kind of how to dominate those things on your site and how to increase revenue with each tactic. So before I jump in, I'm going to talk about the definitions that I'm going to be using: unknown users versus a known user. So what is an unknown user? They're not logged in. They haven't filled out a form. They maybe have been to your site on a desktop, but they haven't been to it on mobile. So they're technically unknown on the mobile device. They haven't clicked on any one of your marketing emails, and they haven't done a guest checkout experience. So this is where, step one, they enter their email. They haven't done that yet. So that is an unknown user. And a known user, and it can be any one of these. It doesn't have to be all 3. It just has to be one of them. They're logged in. They filled out any one of your forms. So this could be like a footer form. It could be a pop-up. It could be, they went through the guest checkout experience. Or it could be someone that clicked on a marketing email. So they clicked in and their identity was revealed through that click in. And that's a known user. And so that's a difference. And I'm going to be talking about the first 3 things I'm going to be talking about is the unknown users, which is really where you can kind of harness the power of a lot of these strategies. So the reason why it's so important is 92% of your traffic is on most e-commerce site is unknown visitors, right? They're coming to your site, and then out of that, they're not even adding an item to their cart. So what can we do for those users? They come to your site, you don't know anything about them, they don't even add an item to your cart. They leave or they browse. And the key thing there that we're finding does really well is we call it repurpose your existing offer. So a lot of times you come to the site and bam, you're hit with a pop-up and it says 25% off site-wide. Instead of doing that, dynamically change the image and the offer based on what they're looking at. So if they're looking at a wooden toy, show a wooden toy image with the wooden toy text. This is called personalizing the offer based on what they're seeing on your site, the URL that they're visiting on. Make it specific. And so you're repurposing the existing offer because you're already doing the get 25% off. Now, the whole idea here is you're just changing kind of what you're showing. And so you give them that offer, and this allows them to enter their email address and become a known user. So maybe on their next attempt, you can come in and kind of trigger other different campaigns that we're going to talk about in this presentation. But this is where they're an unknown, they haven't had any items in their cart, they're not any interest, give them a coupon code and personalize it. Now, the second thing is unknown users again, but they add an item in the cart. Now, the difference here is by adding an item in their cart, they are expressing a level of buying intent, right? So now you don't have to show them an offer if you don't want to. An offer is great if you want to do that. But what you can do instead is, hey, look, I'm going to save all the items in your cart, right? And maybe you offer a bonus kind of coupon code here as well. But what you're doing here is you want to enter their email right here. You take all the items that they add in their cart and send it to them in their email so they can kind of save it for later. Maybe you can have a nurture email, be like, hey, these are items in your cart. If you finish your order, by Friday, here's 10% off. So you can do things like that. Now we're talking about known users who are on your site. So maybe they have filled out a marketing, pop-up, filled out a footer form, maybe clicked on one of your marketing emails. They're known, but they don't actually add an item to their cart. Now that's what we call browse abandonment. So what we can do is you can detect all the items that they browse, and on exit, maybe you send them a reminder, hey, this is the items that you browsed. Are you interested in any of these? Or maybe it's the last item that they browse, or based on the time spent on that specific product, you send them an email with what they've brought. And since you already have their identity, you actually don't have to ask them for anything. You don't have to ask for their email. You just send an email out with the items that they browsed and potentially what they're interested in. Now, the reason why this is huge is because you're pretty much tailoring your email based on only the items that they are most interested in. And maybe you make it category specific. So if they're on toys, you talk about toys. If they're, so it can be very niche, segmented, highly targeted emails based on the categories and products that they're most interested in. And if you have a e-commerce site with hundreds of different categories, this is very powerful in terms of the type of emails you send. And on top of that, you actually have that data in your ESP or your CDP, so you can actually personalize your site based on that as well. And that's another benefit to kind of browse abandonment. The last one is known users who abandon Minicarts. So this is where you have their identity, they've done something where they enter their email, and they added an item to their cart. And why I say mini cart here is typically, they didn't go to the checkout page, They just added an item to their cart, and that's about it. And an exit, you do the same kind of thing. You treat that almost like a cart abandonment, right? They didn't make it to the end of the checkout flow, but you kind of remind them, hey, these are the items that you left in your cart. Why don't you come back in and complete your checkout? Sometimes people don't even realize that they didn't even finish the checkout experience. They think by adding the item to their cart, they haven't actually completed the entire flow. So a reminder is a good thing to do. The other thing you can do is you can send them reminder emails. You can also do a pop-up, an exit intent pop-up. Hey, by the way, you have 3 items left in your cart. So show them a reminder that, hey, you haven't completed your checkout process yet, to get them to come back in. Now, last but not least, of course, we got to talk about just regular cart abandonment. They go to your checkout page and the exit. Now, this is, if you're not doing it, you have to start doing it. This is where you're going to see a 300% increase the ROI on those emails is about 300% on those on cart abandonment. And this is why everybody does it. This is why it's becoming more and more built in for every e-commerce platform. If you're not doing it, you have a homegrown system, you got to start doing this. They go to the checkout page, they exit, they have some items in their cart, you have their email address. All you have to do is send them a simple email with the items that they left in their cart. That's it. You don't have to do anything fancy in terms of you have a reminder, and that way they can come back at a later time, check out, and complete their transaction. Those are really huge. Other things you can do a pop-up, for example, right? That says, hey, by the way, if you check out today, if you know your lifetime value of your e-commerce suppliers, you can show them a specific offer. Also, if you know the items in their cart, based on the items in their cart, hey, they are probably never going to come back. Maybe you show a very specific offer, or if you know your margins, based on an exit intent reminder. Now, the biggest thing I want to tell you guys about known users who abandon carts is most cart abandonment providers already have this, and it's just a simple thing you have to turn on. Now, if you're not doing this, turn this on, especially if you have a homegrown system. Let us know. We're gonna help you guys out with this. If you have unknown users, if you have a lot of unknown users on your site, please contact us. We would love to help you guys strategize and even come up with an ROI plan for you guys on, is this effective or not for you guys? In some cases, it's very effective. So excited to share these tips with you. Let us know if we can help you.